So the election is in 32 days, and Americans have a big choice to make. And I think it's very important then to point out Donald Trump has a very different approach than mine. And let's be real about who Donald Trump is. Let's be real. This is a time for real talk. He was handed $400 million on a silver platter and filed for bankruptcy 6 times. This is a man who has only ever fought for himself. This is a man who has been a union buster his entire career, who has called union leaders, quote, dues-sucking people. And as president, he did not lift a finger to save the pensions of millions of American workers. We did. We did. This is a man who sold promise after promise to American workers but never delivered, who said he supports so-called right-to-work laws 100%. Those are his words. He who joked and laughed about firing striking workers. You remember that? Who rolled back labor standards and made it easier for companies that break labor laws to get federal contracts. And Donald Trump is a man who tried to cut funding for our first responders, including SAFER grants for firefighters. So brothers and sisters, as we stand here in a house of labor, we will not be fooled. We will not be gaslighted. Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people. And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country. But we know the facts, and we know the truth. He is an existential threat to America's labor movement. Just look at his track record to know. He said he was the only one who could bring back America's manufacturing jobs. Michigan knows what I'm about to say. Then America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs when he was president, including tens of thousands of jobs in Michigan. And those losses started before the pandemic, so we're clear, making Donald Trump one of the biggest losers of manufacturing jobs in American history. And recall his record, his track record for the auto industry. He promised workers in Warren that the auto industry would, quote, not lose one plant during his presidency. Then, American automakers announced the closure of 6 auto plants when he was president, including General Motors in Warren and Stellantis in Detroit. Thousands of Michigan auto workers lost their jobs. And now he is making the same empty promises to the people of Michigan that he did before, hoping you will forget how he let you down. But we know if he wins again, it will be more of the same. Everything he intends to do is spelled out in Project 2025. If re-elected, he intends to launch a full-on attack on unions and the freedom to organize. He will ban public sector unions, roll back workplace safety protections, and appoint a union buster to run the Department of Labor. And on top of that, Donald Trump will give billionaires and the biggest corporations massive tax cuts like he did last time. He will cut Social Security and Medicare and impose what I call a Trump sales tax, a 20% tax on everyday goods and necessities, which will cost, the economists have said, which will cost the average American over $4,000 a year more. And if that weren't enough, he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. And even after he tried to repeal it time and time again when he was president, he still has no plan to replace it. Did you guys see the debate? Concepts of a plan. He has And you know, I've said many times he is an unserious human. But the consequence of him is quite serious. Because think about that, concepts of a plan. So he's going to threaten the health care and health coverage of 45 million people in America based on a concept? Think about that. To take us back to when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions, you remember what that was like? So look, I'm here to say, and I think we all know, it's time to turn the page. It's time to turn the page.